Hey guys, I want to talk really quickly about Across 5 Aprils and give you just a little bit more information, okay? So these chapters are depicting the beginning of two slow transformations, okay? So first, it's going to introduce the years of animosity between the different regions in the nation, which we're learning about in our history book. We've got these slave states and these free states, and they're all kind of angry at each other. And second, we're going to watch how Jethro's family, right, is going to be sort of transformed by the war. And Jethro, who's just a boy, is going to turn into a man. So chapter 2 in particular sets up the arguments between the North and the South. The author, his last name is Hunt, shows us how the arguments play out as the discussion prompted by Wills Graham's visit kind of goes through this. So the cousin comes in to visit, and the discussion kind of discusses Ellen's comment that Lincoln has to pick between two wrong choices. Even though it might be the reader, okay, us, we're like, it's got to be the North. It's got to be the North, right? If only for the anti-slavery reasons. The arguments from both sides are convincing. Neither side is completely wrong or completely right. So it's important to understand that, right? That they both are sort of fighting for what they think are right at the time. And we're looking back at it now saying, well, the North is right. But there were arguments that were convincing from both sides. Remember, one of the arguments was the people in the North have factory workers, but they treat them really badly and they don't take care of them. So the fact that a relative of Ellen's sides with the South shows how common it is for not only the country, but for families. So now you've got this family in Southern Illinois, right? And now she's got a relative that comes from Kentucky, and they're for the South and they're for the North. So they're going to fight with each other. So this was happening. Families, friends, and communities are going to be completely divided on the issue. Hunt uses the character Wills Graham to foreshadow that the families are going to be pulled apart by this disagreements in the war. So in chapter 2, Jethro is going to have an insight into what war means. As a boy, it's understandable that he associates war with like fun, right? Like patriotism and battle. I mean, all little boys especially have battles. But he's going to realize that war is not fun and it's not a game. And he begins to understand how serious war is if it brings a family into arguments at the dinner table. Remember, we've also got the character of Shadrach, who's the teacher at the school, who the sister kind of likes. Shots have been fired. Now, this is paralleling what we are going to be reading in our history books about South Carolina, right? And that the Fort Sumter, Lincoln is going to go after the fort, and they're going to lose. The Union is going to lose that battle, and Lincoln's going to realize we're actually at war. The war has begun, and the North is in for a tough fight. Remember, in that one video I showed you about Lincoln, if you haven't watched it before, you will watch it this week. Lincoln really thought he was going to go into the war, and it was going to be just a quick battle. It was over. Okay, we got control of things again. So chapter 1 and chapter 2 are sort of a small-scale version of what the book is going to be in the entirety. And we're going to see the characters and who they are. From here on out, we're going to see these characters function not so much within the context of family, but within the context of war. At the end of chapter 2, as they gather around Shadrach for the news, it is the last time they are all together as a family. The end of chapter 2 is the brink, and none of the characters is going to be the same from this point on. So read the summaries of the 2 chapters, and remember, this is paralleling what we're reading about in our history books, which is so cool. Not the war, right, but that we've got this historical fiction that's going along with our history.